Guys, welcome back to another episode of Unmotivated. We've got Kat and Jamahl here. Everybody basically in this house is a co-host. Like he said, it's me and Mal, but it's somebody going to be on at all times. Jamahl and I got a chance to experience the shelter, and I'm going to walk through my experience mentally, emotionally, and physically. Kat has actually rescued a dog, and the last dog I ever rescued, Bits... My dad had a girlfriend named Miss Valerie, and this dog went under the bed, and she went to go grab her, and she put her tooth through her hand. That was the last dog we rescued. And you go, well, that ain't the move. But at any hoot, everyone here has a lot of experience with pets and animals, and definitely dogs specifically. And I tell you, it was eye-opening. So, Ma, if you don't mind, walk them through what you felt when you saw all these dogs. And, you know, even the woman's commented recently on a post Jamarcus made. She said, oh, I love what you're talking about. 96 dogs were surrendered yesterday. You go, that's fucking scary. 96 dogs, 30 to 50 a day. Where are they coming from? Why are they being turned over? What's the problem? How do we solve it? But what were you thinking when you were walking through this place and you're seeing these dogs and it feels like a really bad commercial?
Man, to be honest with you, man, when she was this is before we actually spoke to old girl, or
before we spoke to her.
Oh man, I was overwhelmed, bro. I was like, wow, you know what I mean? For some reason, you know, I always had the the understanding that, you know, the dog shelter is like a kind of, it's a serious place, but how they presented it was like, oh man, you know, I wouldn't say the best place, but I didn't think it was that bad. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was like a little balance. Like, man, there's some happy dogs in there we could go get, whatever, find a new home. No. But yeah, when we walked in there, bro, that was probably like one of the most crazy experiences of like, helplessness, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just knew that I can't save these dogs, but if I could,
I would.
I'll try to figure something out for them.
Yeah.
And you could just see you could feel that radiation, you know, you could feel that energy off the dogs. Like
just sadness,
the
man.
unsurety, bro. Like, what's going to happen? What's up? Yeah, it was horrible, dog. I'm surprised that there's not more money in that industry as far as trying to come up with other ways to put these dogs on some kind of land or something like that.
Well, I think, you know, there's a woman I know, Exquisite Bulls, you know, I don't shout a lot of people out, but I will say she commented on something. Mm-hmm. And I said it years ago too, like, yo, there should be licensing and various things that require you to be a little bit more careful when breeding and allowing happy accidents to happen, or management in a sense. But Kat, I know you've rescued a few dogs. What's that been like? And what has it felt like when you've had to get rid of a few of them as well?
I have never gotten rid of a dog. Oh, okay, that's not true. When I did, but she went to a good home. I never intended to rescue a dog. That's the truth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My first dog, I did buy Frosty Socks. Was his name.
Oh, wow.
He was adorable. He was a blue-nosed pit. You know what I mean? So, yeah, my very first dog I did buy, and honestly, I don't know how I ended up adopting a dog the second time. It came out of nowhere. I had no intentions of having a dog. I had just moved into a new apartment. And I think I saw a Facebook ad for Wayside Waifs in Kansas City.
Oh, shit. Oh, Wayside, boy.
I think I saw a Facebook ad, and there was this dope ass, now I know what it is, reverse brindle dog named Dusk, and he was fire. He was so fire. Long story short, I went through, they make you do an interview process, which I actually appreciate. You know,
that's good. Because if they don't do the dog liable to end right back up.
To end right back up there. Yeah, exactly. So, and you know, I'm glad they did now, you know what I mean? But I was hurt at the time. They told me I couldn't have the dog.
Oh, shit.
Like I said, I just moved into a new apartment. We had a dog park at the apartment complex.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this should be great. I'll walk him down there every day. And long story short, they were like, no, if he sees another dog,
it's over.
He's going to bite its head off, literally kill it. Like, he was trained to kill other dogs. So,
shit.
Long story short, they wouldn't let me have Dusk. I don't do well to being told no.
Yeah.
I just don't function that way. So started looking online. There was this goofy looking dog named Cece, Ceasy. I was like, ew.
Oh my gosh.
Goofy looking dog named Cece. Long story short, I was like, you know what? She's a pit. They say she's short, whatever. Like, let me just pull up and look at her. And that's where KK came from.
Oh, so you named her KK.
Yeah, I wanted to, CC, KK. CC wasn't it
You're
for
like,
me.
It'll work.
CC was disgusting.
So
I didn't
you-
like it.
CC's Pizza.
Yeah,
So you had to, being told no, you had to get a dog.
had to.
Had to.
Mandatory. It was, my mind had already been made up. Like, I was bringing Dusk home, so when they told me I couldn't have him.
And did they tell you that why you couldn't have him? Is just what?
Because I would be around too many dogs. Like, because I literally couldn't walk out of that apartment complex without being around another dog. And he was big. Like, he
Yeah.
was probably an 80, 90 pound.
Yeah, that's a good
pit,
dog. That's a good
so-
sized dog, especially
yeah.
when it's motivated. That's
Exactly.
It's like it adds another 20 to 30 pounds of pressure because when that dog wants to get through you've seen stuff. Joe Rogan posted something where the pit bull like chewed through some metal fence just because he wanted to get to where he was going. Very determined breed, people. Well, I would say as we was walking through my own experience too, I go, this isn't good. It's making me feel sick, and I don't have a lot of emotions. I don't have like an emotional like bank, if you would. So when I'm watching these dogs, and then I'm never gonna forget her telling us, he dies Thursday at 11 o'clock. I go, fuck, poor guy, poor fucking guy. And then you're saying, okay, good percentage of these dogs are bully pit type breeds. A lot of them were surrendered due to behavioral problems, and in this case, even the dog that Cat wanted, it sounds like it was bred for it had to be bred for that purpose.
Yeah, he was a fighting dog.
See what I'm saying? So, and then if you don't know that and know how to manage that dog, oh God, now you have another problem. And I've already seen posts from the woman who we all follow now saying, so and so brought back. Look who's back again. You go, oh fuck, man.
I followed her for about half an hour, and then I had to unfollow her.
Yeah,
I couldn't do it.
It is tough because even myself, I want to send everything when I do jump on there for 2 seconds. I want to send everything to the story like, yo, please go and help this dog out. But at anywho, what would be some of your advice, and what's it been like, having KK? Or you guys both, and this is the point of this episode, people. So they both have gone through a few breeders. You guys have had your experiences there. You've had a couple different type of breeds. Which experience has been the most refreshing? And take me off the table because I was straightforward. Here you go. Thank you. We got to move forward. But you guys, Kat, you bought a dog from a breeder before, right? Mm-hmm. What happened to that dog?
She is living on a farm in Wichita,
Kansas,
with a beautiful family and some kids thrown around with. Long story short, she's an asshole. She chewed through an entire couch, like not a cushion, not an arm, like literally ate my entire couch. Chewed my entire brand new wood deck that I'd installed whenever I had first bought a house. Just awful separation anxiety because I purchased her from a backyard breeder. She had, neglect issues from the very beginning. She was too skinny when I got her. I actually got her at 4 weeks because
shit.
I refused to let her stay at that home anymore.
Damn.
You know what I mean? Like, it was just that disgusting over there. So
I did that with a dog once, man. I felt bad. I bought a dog for $350, and I went to go see it. It looked better on the line, but when I got there, this poor dog, literally in the backyard, it's got fleas and everything. I said, fuck, dude, how much?
How much? Let me get her. Yeah. So she ended up, whenever I sold my house, she ended up going to a farm. There was, at the same time, we had bought another dog, literally like probably 6 weeks prior. So we bought a 6-week-old puppy, trained him all the way up. He was super good. He was amazing. He was an accidental litter. He had no papers, whatever. Ends up being like the most fire dog I've ever had.
Yeah.
He's like 110 pounds of solid muscle, gigantic head, like just beautiful blue nose or whatever you call it. You said blue nose doesn't exist. I don't know. But yeah, so got him and then ended up getting Yayo. We called her Yayo because she was bright white. She was all white, Scarface.
Damn, you got some dogs on you. We haven't even got to the dogs we got in this house.
That's only 3. That's 3.
That's a lot of dogs. That's
3 before KK.
How I
and they're
look at
all
it,
in
like,
good homes now.
Look, see, so you brokered deals to get dogs to the places they're supposed to be.
Oh, I had to. Well, I wasn't taking her to no shelter. There was no way.
And outside of selling house, I mean, clearly I understand a dog chewing through a couch and just being a fucking terrorist. But what was the other reason you got rid of some of the other dogs? Why did KK? She made it.
Because KK's a shit.
Oh my gosh.
KK's the best dog ever. I don't even know why you'd ask me that question. You know the answer.
Oh man.
No, the other dogs, I mean, a breakup. That's where that
fair.
came
Hey,
from.
look, that's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair. You say, look, you keep the dog, get out of my face.
Yeah, high school sweetheart. One dog stayed with his grandma, one dog stayed with him, the other one went to a farm.
Okay.
So that's how that worked.
There you have it. Now, what did you learn? You know, you've gone through, that's 3 or 4 dogs. Now you got a whole new tribe per se.
Jesus Christ.
What have you learned through the process? And it just goes back to as well, being supportive of making sure dogs don't end up in shelters, right? Mm-hmm. So how do we prevent that? How do we do more for the dogs or educate people even more on what they're getting, right? And even prevent backyard breeding, because when you don't know what you're getting, you go, fuck.
There's so much embedded in that one sort of question that you asked me just now. I would say, as far as education goes, you know, I think a lot of people think that a dog is not that large of a commitment. And quite frankly, a dog is a toddler that never grows up. They never feed themselves. They never take themselves to the bathroom. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You got to clean up after them.
all the time for the rest of their lives. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it is a long commitment. You know what I'm saying? And like, at the end of the day, go volunteer at a shelter.
Man.
If you want to be around dogs, if you want to spend time with dogs, you know what I'm saying? But you don't have the ability to commit to a dog for the next 10 to 15 years.
At least.
Go volunteer, go walk some dogs, go play with them, go whatever, you know what I'm saying? But don't commit to taking that dog on, because you can't drop your kid off. You know what I'm saying? I guess you can, but like,
look, when it's a bad kid, it'd be like somebody call you in 30 minutes. Hey, come get this nigga.
go get him.
This nigga out of my house right now. He is tripping.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the biggest thing, especially with KK. I mean, going through it with the other dogs, like, yeah, I went through growing pains and obedience training or whatever, like, and then we kind of just got to rock and we get from, you know, through a routine from there. But especially adopting a dog, you know what I mean? Like KK, and having to go through a lot of the trials and tribulations that we went through.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it was a commitment. There are times where I'm like, I can't go out with my friends today because I got to spend this time with my dog. Like, there was a lot that went into it. You know what I mean? So
That's
think
probably one of the biggest things that makes somebody turn that dog back into, because they don't understand, like, yo, this is full blown. You're responsible to the day this dog dies.
Yep.
And even when it dies, you have to be here or sign a paper to get it euthanized. So it's not even as straightforward as you think. You
been there, done that too.
That's my thing. So, Amal, in your case, you're seeing this fucking shelter. You're thinking to yourself, man, how can I stop this? How can I help? And on the back end, you too, tell a little bit about your dog journey. 2020 was, a time where you said you spent some time, thinking like, man, I want a dog.
Yeah, man, I've always been an animal lover, man, since a child. My first pet, actually, I believe, was a cat, dog. Because that's the only thing I could get.
Hey, I had one named Spanky. It was a hood cat, boy.
Bro, yeah, I had
Man, she said she want a hood nigga.
Yeah, I had a cat, man. My grandmother, God bless her soul, man, she used to be a nurse, at-home nurse for one of her patients. I don't know how I remember her name, but Miss Mary.
Miss Mary. She gave you your first cat, boy?
She was strong as hell, man. Strong old lady, dog. And she had a whole bunch of cats. She gave me my first cat, bro. And I was a cat man, even when we moved to Florida. And in Florida, I got my first puppy, right? And then that's why I told you I got the pit bull from the white pastor. So it's already like, what? You know
What's happening here?
You know what I mean? So that's my experience into the dog world, man. But
let me ask you both this too, and answer this. I don't relationship with you go. What is it about the nigga and the pit bull?
I don't know.
It's like niggas just gotta have pit bulls. I was one of them too. Now I'm like, I need Lassie, nigga.
I would have got any dog they gave me. I didn't know what I was getting. She just said she had a puppy. And then when I got the puppy, I still didn't know what the fuck it was. And then somebody told me it was a pit bull. And then when I asked her, she was like, yeah, it's a pit bull. I was like, oh, shit.
That's why they don't tell you. That's like, I got a baby for it. Hey, this baby's black.
Yeah, bro. This shit.
What does that mean?
They could have gave me a motherfucking German Shepherd or a doodle. I would have been happy. I would have been straight.
But why do you think Negroes love pit bulls so much?
I don't know, man. I really didn't really.
Well, you just answered her. You didn't even have a clue.
I didn't really. Yeah, that was just falling in my lap. You know what I'm saying? Even when I came out here, bro. That's the only thing that was being introduced until I seen the pressing, and I'm like, oh, it's all different type of variations of them. But
yeah,
I don't know, man. Before we get into that, man, the thing that would probably, I don't know how I can make a dent into this, because it's a serious situation.
Very serious, bro.
You know
Very
what I mean?
serious.
It's just maybe like Kat was harping on not too long ago, like, just be more educated with your purchase. I know I'm a person that I'm like an impulsive buyer, you know what I'm saying? But when you're talking about like a life and shit like that, you know what I mean? It's just, that's a dog. That's okay, AKA a human. Some people are dog parents. And,
they humanize the dog.
They
sure.
humanize the dog. So it's just like, yo, if you don't have any intentions in trying to at least, give it your best, put your best foot forward, man. Leave that thing where it's at, because all you're gonna do is you're gonna create more anxiety than that dog. You know what I mean? Because it's gonna develop a sense of companionship. You know what I mean? And people and animals die over that shit.
Facts,
on
bro.
top of whatever fate is already going with them. So imagine you getting a dog and bringing it right back. You know what I mean? Some shit happened. It's almost like you setting a child up for like false expectations.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just all bad business, man. It's unfortunate, and just people just got to slow down with their decisions, because, like you said, sometimes like you get in a relationship or you have a situationship, and once that's over, everything is like fucking all strings pulled. need to be some conversations on, what's going to happen with the livelihood of everything else that's affected by us too. I think that's the right thing to do than, putting them back in the shelter where they don't have a standing chance at anything.
At all, my friend.
Sad, man.
What you got?
I don't know. I feel like, well, to answer your original question, I feel like the pit bull thing, I feel like that comes from I feel like it's an image thing, right? Black people are super into their image. Like at the end of the day, they want to look tough. They want to look like they got money. They want to look like a whole bunch of things. You know what I'm saying? And the culture that's been created around pit bulls, Frenchies, all that, you know what I'm saying, is that, it's a money thing. It's a status thing. It's I want to look tough. My dog looks as tough as me thing. Like, I don't know. I personally love pit bulls because they'll fuck you up, but they're also the sweetest dogs on the planet. I'm like, they've got both sides. I feel like they represent me as a person. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. I think they're sweet. They're super loyal. They're fairly easy to train for the most part. Even though they're hard-headed, they're fairly easy to train. So
interesting. Well, I like that we're thinking about how we could potentially put parameters on managing, lowering the risk of dogs, getting turned over. I saw a lot of things that made me, I won't say reconsider some stuff, but I'll tell you this. If you're listening to Unmotivated and you have messaged me about a puppy, don't ever send me, I need one of your dogs. No, you don't. No, you don't. That message right there is a prime indicator that you do not need a dog or anything else from me. I'm going to give you some good advice.
Especially not one of Trevor's rambunctious ass dogs.
There you go. There you go. I'm telling you right now, they require way more work, time, and attention, and energy, and my God, effort. So,
effort.
That's 2 years. That's 2 solid years of managing who you want them to become, and that in itself is a journey. Because they come from me, but that the shelter fucked me up because it made me relive things that I hadn't thought about in a very long time. And it was, again, sent me down a rabbit hole. I remember going to Wayside Ways back in the day, and we were potentially going to adopt a dog. And I think we brought back a dog named Ringo. And they weren't fixing dogs yet, so we got to keep him intact. And
intact.
Yeah, that's what they, you got to keep his situation. And, 2 things my papa said. He said, never castrate a dog. And he said, don't forget it's a dog. and I appreciate the people who humanize the dogs, because you guys spend a lot of money, and we're going to create a lot of things for you to keep your dog living well and living long. Mm-hmm. But the other side of it is it's still a dog. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful bond. It's a beautiful thing to see. But, there are more dogs that she alluded to being turned over for simple behavioral things. And I've gotten the message, people like, yo, this dog's peeing all over my house. I'm about to drop him off at the shelter. You go, because he peed? Mm-hmm. Peed on my couch, peed on my floor. He keep peeing in his cage every time he comes in. He's pooping. That's part of the journey. Mm-hmm. That's a part of the journey. So walk them through where you guys are now at in your dog journey and how you potentially want to contribute moving forward. Because now you're on kind of the breeding side, right?
Yeah. Yeah, man, I guess we just fell into it. Luckily, wouldn't have it any other way. But I mean, just being so much. I do appreciate you on the education, man. Being exposed to what you and Jamarcus and Stan do on a day to day, man. Just kind of really just understanding this industry differently. It just kind of. I never was one of them dudes that wanted to pump a whole bunch of dogs out in the first place. Even when, like, with the situation with fucking Dolce and any of those dogs, like, I wasn't like, yo, I want to get in, I want to get up next to you, or, you know, whoever I was dealing with, to just be like, yo, I'm going to pump out like 9 litters a year, nigga. You know what I mean? And also
Way
wild
too
shit.
many
Like,
litters.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
but you know niggas is doing it. You know
Oh
what I'm
my
saying?
God,
So,
bro. They got to do it to pay bills sometimes.
yeah, man, I was never like that, man. I just was really intrigued on how the circle of life worked for the dog. You know what I mean? Seeing how like that start to finish point. And then even when Jamarcus told me about both of y'all told me about the whelping side, and when you went to go try to fucking make sure the Frenchie could breathe, I'm like, all of that stuff is interesting to me. You know what I'm saying?
It's frightening. They don't even know why. I'll listen to once I talk to Ruben, but one of the Frenchies could have a problem right now with the eyeballs. So you say, why are you keeping those Frenchies so long? Most of the issues don't occur or come forth until about 4 or 5 months, and sometimes upwards of 6. And they don't grow, but you go, what are we really selling a person? Because at the end of the day, it could cost me more money and saying, hey, go take it to your vet. And every time you go to the vet, you doubling down on, I got to pay that bill because I sold you a dog that could be problematic.
Yeah.
And I don't want that burden.
Yeah.
So even with the bullies, as you know, more in my experience, outside of some of the health issues, you could be selling a bad behavior, like a real bad behaving dog.
Oh yeah, temper and shit. Yeah.
And so, you know, Jamarcus' knowledge is just turned 2, and you know, at 2 years old, we've seen the things in the first 2 years that we said we could work with that.
Yeah.
And that could be scaled. So what's one of the worst lessons you learned from your experience in dealing with other breeders? And then what you know, outside of what we're doing now, you got more hope, like, oh, there's a light at the end of this tunnel.
Me personally, just being the person that I am, eccentric person, happy, you know, with almost anything that I, you know, feel like I'm gonna be a part of.
Yeah.
You know, just not doing my due diligence and like slowing down and just trying to really evaluate who I'm getting the dog from. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
just like just taking a deep dive and trying to understand that person more and exactly what this relationship is about to be with the dogs you're trying to give me, or partnership it is. So I feel like if I would have like pumped the brakes on that and not be so excited to just house a dog,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, it probably would have, you know, left me more room to kind of operate and detach from certain situations.
Yeah.
So just knowing what you're trying to, you know, knowing who you're sleeping in bed with, when you get involved with, when it comes to them.
And then so in your case, I know you've held on. You guys have both talked about, you know, holding on to some things. What are some reasons that you would consider rehoming or finding a dog a better place? Because you've gone through a few different pressure situations and some other dogs that were here. I mean, even shout out to the little retard Pluto that was here for a little bit. You know,
And
he was
Apache.
Plutowski.
oh God, I forgot about Apache. You know, is these random situations, and then there was supposed to potentially be a Great Dane dropped off. He said, I'd say, Miguel, no, just no.
It did look hard though. It did look hard, man.
And they're selling you that versus this bigger vision, right?
But no, Miguel wasn't trying to sell him. He was
No,
trying to.
no, he gonna drop that booger off.
But yeah, he was trying to be a part of something. He was trying to create something. But like you said, direction. You know what I'm saying? Execution.
And that part right
and
there.
I appreciate that, and I appreciate, you know, it being under the household where you're at too, you know, versus where we started off at. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, look, when Miguel, I said, so walk me through, Miguel. There's no opportunity here, man. You're not understanding what we're trying to do, and that's still left, and we just can't keep bringing random things into the situation that don't get us there. So you too, Kat, what are some things you wish you knew before you potentially got dogs from various breeders or people, and now that you know, you go, oh yeah, I would never do that again.
I think there's quite a few things. I think a lot of it, before I ever even got a dog in the first place, I think, you know, understanding signs of issues, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Signs of like, you know, they've got really bad allergies, they have skin issues, things along those lines. Like that's the type of thing that I feel like you can pick up on fairly quickly.
Very quick.
You know what I mean? So like I wish that was just something that I knew to look for, and that doesn't necessarily mean that I still wouldn't have taken the dog. You know what I mean? Like again, when I want something, I want it. You know what I mean?
That's every woman on earth. They're like, yeah.
But
Well,
also,
he'll
I
be
feel
a good
like
boy.
at the end of the day, it's like if you know that you can solve those problems, if you know that immediately, even if you know, this is me 3-4 years ago, 5 years ago. I'm like, hey, I got to make sure I feed kibble with, a fish base instead of a chicken base. You know what I mean? Like just little stuff like that, knowing what to look for as far as the signs with the dogs. Also knowing to ask about the parents, to see the parents, to meet the parents.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Before you just purchase a dog randomly. Because it doesn't matter how cute the dog looks.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? Like understanding the parents' temperament and how they act and things along those lines. I think that's important too. Because also, you know what I mean? I love Lola to death. She's too fucking hyper for me. You know what I'm saying? I love my dog to death. But typically in the past, I've always gone for the more docile type of dog. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's why KK's personality, it fits, right?
Yeah.
And so Lola is our little firecracker. She is our spark. If I would have had the option to choose the more chill dog, you know what I'm saying? Like just being totally truthful, I would have. You know what I mean? So like
that's important too.
No, I mean, I think it's something that, again, the education behind just how to choose a dog, how to choose a breeder, things along those lines. Like, I think it makes a huge difference because it's like, what if somebody randomly comes, because you do a good job, right? You vet the people that are coming to get the dogs, you know what I mean? And which is super important. I think that's first red flag, right? The breeder doesn't care where you live, who lives in your house, if you've ever had dogs. They don't care, right?
Come get it right now. I'll give it to you right now for $1,000.
Come get this hyper ass dog that I know is going to be 110 pounds. You're only 75 and, can hardly walk, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think little stuff like that, it makes such a huge difference understanding that a dog is actually going to be a good fit for your home.
Yeah.
So.
And that's another reason dogs get surrendered to. The dog, they literally had no clue that it was going to be what it was going to be.
Yeah.
And that could be challenging. And I've said many times, these the ones that we're putting out there, they're not house niggas, to say the least. And house niggas will sit there and chill. It's not the, and mind you, keep in mind, I walked them through and showed them plenty of videos. I said, look, this was active, my man. Even one of the guys, Kara, we have a dog in Oregon, and I said, look, she's a bitch. I just want to give you a heads up. This is the fucking devil. Just so we're clear. He says, oh, I like that. He like, there are people who've got experience with the breed. And again, we focus more on the terrier side. But when you start talking experience, think about what she said, people. A lot of people go into it impulsively. And like she said, somebody might get fixed. I got to have this dog. And he goes, well, let me tell you a little bit about the parents and stuff,
right.
and who the dads and then what we bred for, what was our intent, what was our purpose, who this dog could grow up and be. Like there's so many things you need to be informed on because at the end of the day, like a child, it is a responsibility, and you are responsible for that thing and everyone else's safety around you till it dies, or you have to do something different with it. And we don't have a return policy, but you go, I've told some people, I said, look, you got before 6 months, you got to bring it back to me because past that point, it'll be behaviors locked in that I don't want to manage or put on someone else, to say the least.
Yeah.
But these people are advanced and equipped to deal and manage with the dogs and just dogs in general. So if you guys also had to give anybody advice from a more on the consumption side, because I think social media does a good job nowadays of doing what? And, I think Maul told me that, I've got to just say it, Ferran's breeder is no longer accessible, right? Mm-hmm. So, you put a dog and it gets on our page. Someone says, oh, look, so-and-so gets to work. Well, I put out there, hey, I'd love to talk to the breeder about what he did with this breeding, this and that. Nigga ain't said nothing else. So you go, there are more people afraid to speak the truth because they bred, as I'm sure Kat just alluded to, for that dollar bill. Hey, I got this dog, come get it right now. And I know some very scary stories. I know a big breeder who, because these two motherfuckers got into it, was arguing. They were like, fuck, I can give you the paperwork. That motherfucker took a litter of pups, and I'm talking like, and just dropped them off at the shelter. Like, oh, fuck it. I'll drop all these dogs and say, fuck it. I don't give a shit about the money. Fuck you. Yeah. It get too personal, right? Mm-hmm. And it's not longer about the dogs. And as I've told you before, it's always going to be about the dogs for us and making sure that they live well, which is why it's imperative that we really think about our breedings and how we continue to put our vision out there, right?
Yeah.
So when you guys now have went through, we've got someone who's adopted a dog. I mean, shit, technically, Ma, you adopted 3 or 4 dogs.
Yeah. You want to be technical?
Yeah. Technically, you did been through a crazy adoption process. And you learned a lot, I think, probably about yourself during that time. But as he said, this dude will smile and keep getting punched. And you go, wow. Boy, you got a strong jaw, man. He ain't got a glass jaw. That nigga did not go to sleep after the first one. What kept you motivated during that time? When things felt like, I mean, respectfully, it was one dud after the next.
Yeah. I was just real hopeful that, I still can make light of the situation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was, like I said, I was still eager to learn about what was going on. So that made me more hopeful, thinking that, if I, keep trying to put my best foot forward, eventually, something would turn. I didn't know how it was going to turn. I thought it was going to turn with that particular situation, but it ended up turning with another situation, and I'm able to actually learn about all kind of breeds.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And have access to all top breeders. So it's funny how that works. You know what I'm saying?
You went through hell to get to heaven.
Yeah. So it's like, so I feel like, shit, if I would have never pulled the trigger on that, or that experience, I feel like some things need to happen, right? So if that would have never happened, you know what I mean? I probably would have never brought Dolce to come, to the gym.
Yeah.
Would have probably never tried to make that connection. Would have, like I told you in the previous episode or whatever, I would have been still secluded, not really saying much and just being more observant.
Yeah.
Instead of being reactive. So if I look back at it now, it's like shit.
It was a necessary evil.
Yeah, it was a necessary evil now, man. And it's like now I can stop myself in the tracks and work with what I got. And now it's more so turned into educational purposes and trying to help people with what to do, what not to do. You know what I'm saying?
That goes back to, and if you don't mind, y'all both could tell, they never intended on getting a new dog. So even when they got Lola, it was not the goal.
Yeah.
But Maul being, it sounds like he's a forward thinker, thinking, well, I don't need a dog, but I need access to better people in terms of maybe the dog space, right?
Yeah.
And it lends that opportunity because now, he got to see his first dog show, or a big one per se. We went to the ABKC Nationals. That was an experience, even for myself. And then you turn around, you meet guys like Chris.
Yeah.
And you haven't got to meet Ruben, but then you're like, oh damn, we got Max, and you keep going down the line. There's a community of decency that I didn't see before, and all these people care about the dogs.
Yep, absolutely.
And they're good fucking people too, who want what's best for the dogs and the people around them, and they want to help. So what's it been like now being on the other side of the coin, if you would? And like I said, just tell them a little bit about why you even pulled the trigger when you already had gone through so much and didn't really need another dog.
I mean, like I said, I pulled the trigger because I thought it would be a dope learning experience and something, I felt like we both could have grew with or can grow with in a platonic environment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I thought, everything just lined up. You were active, I'm active, we work out, forward thinker, we're forward thinkers, and all of that shit kind of reflected in the dogs too, and what you were doing. And that's that's the ideal situation. If I wanted to buy any kind of creature in this household, we could be lazy, but for the most part, if we got to get up and go, we get up and go.
Yeah.
So like you said, it was very imperative and crucial that you get something that kind of represents you or your household. Can move, any kind of function you're trying to do. Now, the upside to that is, watching us take the formula that you guys have been creating and implement that with the other dogs that you wouldn't say are like the dogs you produce, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, when Q came in here and seen KK and thought KK came from your litter or some wild shit like that, right?
Yeah, he was excited, boy.
Yeah, and that's just all based on, what, she does because she preps the food.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But the knowledge that we got from you to be able to put them all in the same regiment. So it just shows people when people always complaining in the comments and all this other shit. And like I said, man, everything that we're doing has a different reaction to each dog. Ice came here, very timid, fucking, small. Now he's starting to fill out of nowhere. All of our dogs are fucking super high driven, healthy, and their body and definition comes from the diet and everything that we put the science in it.
Yeah,
so that's cool to see. You know what I'm saying?
Facts, bro.
That's
it is.
That's what
crazy.
That's what it's about.
Q was like, "Yo, what about that one?" He was real. Her shoulders. He was really talking about.
They looking at the dogs. They think our dogs are boys, nigga. They all girls. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, you know what I'm saying. So shit like that is where it's like, okay, cool, man. That's what it's about. Them little comments, man. You know what I mean? So I feel like, like you said, it was a necessary evil that had to happen, because if, that domino effect didn't happen, then we probably would have crossed paths probably later on down the line.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know how she feels about it, but.
Go ahead now.
I just feel like I think my favorite part about this process being on the other side so far has been the fact that I'm able to pass along knowledge to others now too.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I literally just did it. My godmother made a post on Facebook about allergies. You know what I mean? I asked her what type of food she's feeding. I was like, hey, if you're going to keep feeding kibble, switch to this. Go for something salmon based, this, that, and the third. You know what I mean? Like, it's cool to be able to just, it's like it's one dog at a time. You know what I'm saying? But it can help solve so many issues. Same thing with my mom. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, her dog struggled with all of the same issues. And it's like, it's been such a huge just turnaround. So it's a lot less vet visits, a lot less stress. You know what I'm saying? Like, when they have 4 fucking dogs over there, you know what I'm saying? So it's
and that stuff gets scary too, because if one dog gets sick, every dog gets sick.
Yeah.
And then if one dog has allergies and they all eat the same thing, everybody gets it. You go, what do I do here?
Yeah.
$600 at the vet. That's what you go have to do.
Yeah. 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 So I think that part has been really cool, because I feel like that's just, that's part of my personality is I like to pass along information. I like to help whenever I can. I've loved the fact, I say this all the time, you know what I mean? We switched KK's food. Q was asking if KK was one of your dogs. Yeah. KK went from literally ridden with allergies, covered in bumps, always itchy, to don't even see her scratch anything anymore. You know what I'm saying? No skin issues, no swelling in her face. You know what I mean? Her entire body composition has changed. She no longer looks like a roly-poly. Consistently bloated from the food that she was on. So it's just been interesting. I think that's been the biggest part. It's just the nutrition that goes along with it. You know what I'm saying? And understanding how to better help our dogs. And then whenever other people do ask me, because they now see that we're involved with it, the fact that we're able to just help and pass along that little bit of information to make one dog's life easier, one pet parent's life easier, you know what I'm saying? Because then they can keep passing it along.
Man, look, these two people here are living examples of why I do what I intended to do, and what, I had this vision before we even got here. I said, I watched this. I'm going to rid the dogs of these problems, and I'm going to figure out how to solve them all by the time I'm done. But a simple change in diet enriches everyone's life. You think it's just a dog, like she said. Think about waking up and you're watching your dog suffer a struggle or losing hair or itching. And I get the photos and pictures and the fear. Man, I'm really scared. I don't want nothing to happen to my dog. There are some people who genuinely care about, bully or not, they care about their dog's health. And they're scared to death because they've extended their last financial dollar to the vet, and the vet can't give them no answers. Yeah. So they say, how do I know this is gonna work, bruh? Harmony. I can name people like Trev. Please talk to Ruben and Chris, and Jamarcus is there yesterday, or even Chris, who knows. When I say knows a shit ton, he said, Trev, can you ask Ruben this? He said, whatever he says to do, I'll do it. And you go, my goal was to find 2 people smarter than me. So when I have questions that I think, would change the world, I can reach out to them. And one of the ones who can change the world is saying, ask another world changer if he could assist in this. And for me, those are the moments that are incremental in terms of how I see this, like, really landing in the future. But even with Kat being able to pass along information to her mother and friends and share stuff on Facebook and even watch her own dog's growth. Faith people come from work, and that work is let me add this. Oh, let me add this. And then you start seeing the changes, and the food, it makes a difference, man. Yeah. It makes a difference in us, our dogs, everything.
We saw in all of our dogs. It wasn't even just KK. Dolce went from a big fat roly-poly to like this crazy ripped up. People are scared of her. She's the softest dog we have. She's so sweet.
Softest nigga.
She's so freaking sweet. And people literally see her and they're like, what the fuck? That dog has more muscles than me. You know what I'm saying?
She's shredded, man, and she's ripped up too. She's got just the right amount of lean mass. It's a good thing that's going, and you go, that's literally just shifting the food.
That it was so fast. It took 2 weeks. It took 2 weeks for her to look like an entirely different dog. It was insane.
Yeah, and that's a beautiful thing for someone like myself, which again just helps me really think through the things that I want to do and how to properly package it. But these are two people, when you look at it, they've got one of our dogs, but they were buying access to a brain per se, and that's kind of like what an investment is. You invest into a company per se, you're buying access to something that you want to grow. You don't give nobody money or invest in any business or even yourself without the growth plan per se. So I love that they've got a good pace and patience. I'm glad that they're not stressed about, hey, I got to breed. When I'm a good breeder, they don't stress none of that stuff. And I'm like, hey, you got your paperwork. Go do as you please. They're like, Maul's like, I want to follow the vision per se. It's easier to get where we're going if we're on the same page in general. And I could streamline the whole process of even moving the dogs around, making sure they get in good homes, which clearly they would want, and I do as well.
Yeah.
You go, how do we make sure dogs never get sent to that goddamn shelter? That's my thing. Like, fuck.
Yeah.
That is
horrible.
Man, say, I'm telling you, I'm almost with Cat. I'm like, fuck, now I can't unfollow her, but you go, I don't want to see this shit. That's the truth, but you go.
And it's fun. It's also funny, though, because, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but it's like every time, it's just funny, though, because every time, like, I try to reach out about a dog that, I'm trying to find the right dog for Micah's grandma, right? And it's like every time we see one, it's like it's available or not available or becomes available. And like the last dog I sent you, the chow, it got taken by like a private community. So it's just like my thing is
chow community.
You know what I'm saying? So there needs to be more of these situations for other dogs than if that's the case.
Yeah.
So it's like, I get it, man. You're trying to push these dogs out, but there are people that, are advocates that, that are, picking up what they want. It just there need to be like a more popularized or generalized section too for, some of these dogs, as well. But
place for them to go and just get to respect it. What was you going to say though, Kat?
I was just going to say that, I was sad because I was on there. That's when I unfollowed her. Like I was watching it. I was watching her story. I was going through. I'm looking at all the dogs. I'm like, damn. First off, they have so many cute dogs at the shelter.
Good dogs too.
I always growing up. I always thought the shelter was like the rejects, like those fugly ass little like dogs off the street, like all mess, like your ASPCA dogs you see in the Facebook videos. You know what I mean? Like that's what I always thought about shelter dogs, and I'm realizing now like the breeding problem is so bad.
Oh God,
there are people that cannot sell these puppies, and are just dropping them off.
There's a guy. He said, hey, can you, how much for promotional posts? I said, what am I promoting? And he's got the cane corsos or cane corsos, depending on who's listening. Y'all get fussy about that shit. But I said, bruh, it don't work that way. I said, I don't know what you've done with the dog. I just don't know enough. So when you want me to vouch, I can't put it out there because people might be like, oh, I'm going to buy that dog because Fit Bully said such and such. Challenge is now they're going to ask me 35,000 questions about managing the dog, and it ain't my goddamn dog. and I get, matter of fact, I ain't going to say this is funny, but the dude was like, man, I got a vicious dog. Boom, was a recent message. And I said, well, did you talk to the breeder? And he goes, he's incarcerated. he just got incarcerated. I said, oh, wow. I said, my man, there's nothing I can do for you, buddy. Yeah. I mean, because the stories, when I say are ludicrous, and shout out to everyone who reaches out and asks me a behavioral problem. But behavior is literally, it's epigenetics. We said it and Q cling to it, but he really leaned into that. We're
going to name this epigenetics.
He said that's my word for the week. Every time I'm just saying epigenetics. but it really is how those traits that are passed on. You want a vicious dog, you breed vicious dogs. You want a docile, slower dog, chill dog, you breed, chill dogs. You want a slightly motivated dog. I try to balance every breeding with a dog who's a little bit much and a dog, so depending on how they're developed, sometimes those characteristics are going to come out and that's going to be it. Yeah. But at any rate, we're here with two people who are definitely part of the Fit Bully family and love dogs. I mean, they literally, these kind of people do anything for the dogs. And I watched her prep many meals and inspired me to do, different things as well, just in terms of how to organize the fiber components. But fixing the meals lowered their cost. So great businesses either solve a problem or lower costs. Now, if I could put that concept in a bottle, now we're on to something, because that's how I look at it. Like, okay, how do we simplify someone's life that might not take those extra steps that Cat takes, or definitely that I would take to make sure my dogs are good? Well, this is where the supplement game comes in handy, and then other forms of assistance to distribute education, information, and even hear her say the education's added so much value, and she's taken the information and leveraged it to help others. You go, I just wrote on one of my notebooks how we're going to package things in terms of intro to fiber, intro to feeding. And we did a free guide. Jamarcus said people have been downloading that thing like crazy. 30 downloads in 3 days. And I've not said anything, to be clear. Mind you, that means people are going to the site, downloading this free guide, which might inspire them to download and pay for the other guides. It's a whole thing. So we got to do some more promotional stuff. We're talking on movies. So if you guys don't mind, I've asked you a form of this, but what about your dogs keeps you motivated?
Truly just a quality of life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a stepmom now, you know what I'm saying? I have a kid now, but I've always said, like, I ain't got no kids. You know what I'm saying? But like my dogs, like that's it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I can make sure that they've got a good life, you know what I'm saying? I know I impacted somebody or something. That's
there you
it.
go.
That's the same thing, man. It's the quality of life of the dogs that we're dealing with, man. That's what matters the most.
Hey, and that in itself is huge, people. A lot of people get the dogs to feed their ego. In this case, we get dogs, we breed them, we put them out there to help people be better people. And I've said this many times. If you really lean into the process of enjoying and embracing the journey that you go down with getting to know this thing that's going to love you regardless, especially if you do right by it, it'll do something to you that you didn't know could. Even myself, Jamarcus was there, and I'll tell the story in detail. But I said for years, 2 years, I fucking hate puppies with a passion. Just like I can't stand kids. And you go, but then as you go through this process and you get to this stage where Zara is, becomes this dog that's, oh, wow. And you just get that, oh, shit. And then you get the oh, man, that fucking ego. Jesus Christ. And had I not gone through my process to developing those dogs and making them, good dogs for me, to be clear, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be here. And then it made me slow down and really take a look back. And then going to the shelter was a reminder to really slow down. And really double down on what your business does. We are not going to be the greatest breeders of all times. It's not the goal. And we're not going to be the best dogs in the world. What we are going to do is breed good dogs. And a good dog is a healthy dog with minimal allergies and, good temperament and good behavioral traits and all that other stuff. That's our goal, but we breed to teach.
Yeah.
So when it helped me rethink, or my bad, relook at what is it we really need to focus on to grow. And even Kat's saying that in this particular episode, okay, that makes sense. Now, how do I turn her information so it's something she could share with everybody that continues to build the brand? That's what I'm going through right now in my head. Oh, that's interesting. She needs a button she could press that shares this is what you do when you have this issue and what that formula looks like. So, guys, can't thank you enough. Both, for one, thank you guys for being pet parents. And even more importantly, sharing your process. Again, between the both of them, it sounds like y'all had about 15 fucking dogs and counting. So, and myself included, I said, this is my third time, people. I had 5 dogs before I was 21, 5 dogs at 24, and I got about 30 dogs at 30, something and some change. And it is not going to shrink anytime soon, but we're going to shrink in terms of what we put out, our output, so we can focus on improving, just enriching the dog's quality of life. So anything you guys want to leave them with for those that are considering, I think Kat already said it though.
I'm going to say it again. If you are not ready to commit to a dog for the entirety of its life, don't even get its hopes up. Go volunteer at a shelter. Yeah. You will have all of the dogs you want. You can volunteer to do anything. You can go play with them. You can go walk them. You can go literally run with them. There's all types of different activities that you can go do and just spend time with these dogs, cuddle with the dogs, feed them treats, obedience training. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Literally anything you would do with your own dog at home, you can go do at a shelter. You can help get the word out there. You know what I'm saying? For people that are ready to make that commitment. But understand that it is a huge commitment.
Huge.
Period.
And I got to say this too. Maul, we had walked through the shelter, right? Which is basically, it's 3 phases of this thing. And we didn't even get to the other part of it, right?
Oh, my God.
And we only really saw one volunteer.
Yeah.
People were there, but it was one woman. And people were doing jobs. There was people that they looked like convicts, I got to be honest with you. People that were on work release. But you go, they didn't look mean. They didn't look pleasant. They didn't look like they want to be there neither. She was the only person with a shirt on that had a smile. And when I asked her, I said, hey, do you mind if we record and talk? She said, sure.
Yeah.
You know, we walk out back. But as we walked through the rest of the facility, did you see anybody else that looked like her who was actually...
No, not really, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you.
So out of those 300 plus dogs that are at the Dallas intake facility, it was one. Now, mind you, again, people were there doing a job, cleaning up, doing such as. But she was the only. It looked like the only person like really volunteer, unless I'm wrong. Which goes back to Kat's point.
Yeah, she didn't look. Yeah, she was the only one that looked like she's ready to unload and let you know what's going on. Everybody else was like, man, fuck these goddamn dogs. You know what I'm saying? It was a few of the workers that, you know, I was kind of trying to observe everything. Remember, I told you it was two brothers that stopped me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They was talking to me about the dogs, and he was like, he's going to follow your page and stuff like that. But for the most part, man, it's just like, so it's a lot to take in, bro.
It was more
like,
than I wanted to.
Bro, it was fucking crazy, bro.
And there were dogs that look awful, and then dogs that look good. You go, oh wow,
yeah, like
what's this dog doing here?
I'm still on them two baby boys I showed you in.
Oh yeah, he's
Those
three.
puppies,
You know what I'm saying?
the bully puppies.
Yeah,
Damn,
they were
you know what I'm
fire.
saying? They was tough.
And people, godly. We saw a dog with his guts hanging out. And then I saw a Doberman with her nipples swollen, which means she might have had a litter and somebody just gave them away, sold the pups, or did whatever. I go, and this was a fucking chocolate Doberman that looked good. I'm telling you right now, people, that place, it really has somebody like me, like, we ain't bringing another damn dog, nigga. We just gonna change the dog world and educate and make sure bad things don't happen. But people do truly appreciate our process, and they want to get involved. And I get the emails, hey, you still doing that breeding right, man? I just want to make sure I'm getting a dog. But that does what? From a smart breeder or a good breeder, that forces them to prepare as they learn more about stuff. Because for the whole year, we did 2 breedings last year. For a whole year, they get to see me pound the pavement with education. And there have been great messages when people say, yo, I was thinking about breeding, and I watched your page. I'm like, I am not ready for that. Because it's a full-time job in terms of responsibility and prepping the dogs and pouring into the dogs and doing dog shit. So
When you do it the right way.
there, that part right there. So guys, thank you as always for listening. Shout out to everybody downloading and supporting the Unmotivated Podcast. We're all pretty motivated at times and very unmotivated at other times. But this right here seems to be adding value to people's lives, and we're going to keep it coming. Again, comment below. Share it with some friends. Let us know if there's other things you want to for us to talk about, more truths you want us to tell. And as always, people, keep taking care of your dog. Reach out to Offer Credit. It is tax season, people. Hey, does credit get bad or worse during tax season?
You usually don't get touched. People go spend that cash on everything else.
Oh, there you go. So your credit gonna be the same as it was last time because you said, "Oh, I got the bag, baby."
Yeah, they don't use it to go pay off their debt. That's definitely not what it gets used for.
So back to zero you go, people. As always, take care.